All right, we back. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Queenie Clem, and I have Darliss Batchelor on the platform right now. So go ahead, Darliss. You can tell us about yourself, your books, and if you would like to read an excerpt, you can, and where we can find you and your books. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Queenie, for allowing me to stand on your platform again today. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Again, I am Darliss Batchelor, and I am an author of 7 books, all fiction books. I grew up loving fiction. My mom, I'm told, read to me from the time I was born. And so I think that's where my love of fiction developed. I'm also the granddaughter of a Christian playwright, and I was actually part of a lot of her skits and plays she would write for churches. So I think fiction and writing is in my blood. As I said, I am a wife, a mother, and I'm a grandmother. We just had our second grandson. He's 4 months old. You might hear him in the background sometime soon. He's here visiting with us today. And so that is about me. I would like to talk about some of my books. And of course, that's the purpose for me being here today. My first book, this is my first book that I wrote, and it is called Secrets. I wrote this book over probably 10 years, but it was my first book, and I was scared, and I was hesitating and backing away from it, and taking long periods of time away from it, which is why it took so long to write. But I knew I couldn't give up on it, even though, like I said, I tried. I tried, but something on the inside of me would not allow me to do that. So I birthed this baby about 9 years ago, and this book is because it's my first book. I think it's special to me.
Yes.
There's a couple of characters in here I just want to kind of highlight. We have a situation here in this book where it opens and there is a church whose pastor has disappeared. It doesn't look like he's taken anything from the church. It doesn't look like he's stolen any money or done anything. Nobody's accusing him of doing anything bad, but he disappears. And so we get Pastor Mitch and his wife, Sister Marcia. They end up becoming the pastors of this church. What they don't know is the mess they've walked into. We have Elder Eric Howard, who is a longtime member and part of the board of directors of this church. And actually, Elder Howard thinks he should have been the pastor. So, even though he was not given that role, he has a little bit of it in the back of his head that, well, I should have been the pastor. And so you kind of see that play out throughout the book. We have a lady named Mother Eileen Thomas. And I would venture to say there are a lot of churches that have an Eileen Thomas in their congregation. Mother Eileen Thomas thinks everything should be done decently in order, as long as it's her order. So she sees some things that are happening in the church and she doesn't like them. And so she, of course, tries to impose her will. She tries to get the mother's board to walk away and go join another church. And Pastor Mitch has to deal with Mother Thomas because he's, it's like, I can't let you just tear the church up. Mm-hmm. So, but Mother Thomas has another issue brewing in her home. And so that's her secret. And that's what's causing her to act out in some of the ways she does. We also have a couple of ladies who have Linda and Maxine. They're very good friends and they both had heartache in their relationships and they move in together. But to Mother Thomas, she thinks something is not right about these two women dropping these men and moving in together. So we can guess what Mother Thomas has to say about that. Mm-hmm. But this is a drama-filled book. It's my first book. And like I said, it's special because it is my first book. And so a lot of people really enjoyed this book, and I think it's a good read. So this is my first book, Secrets. This one is not available on ebook yet. I keep saying I need to put another cover on it and make it available in ebook because people have asked for it. And so this is my first book, Secrets. My second book is really, it's a collection of novelettes. And I had a few different stories that were rolling around on the inside of me. And so I wrote them and I didn't know what to do with them. And so I put them in this book. The three novelettes, the first one is Mother May I. It's about a young woman who is she's a high school senior, and she decides that, she gets a scholarship because she's got great grades and she's very smart and brilliant, has a bright future. But what happens is she has some things going on in her home. Her mom has, two children aside from her, and somehow Egypt has become the caregiver for the children. And so Egypt has to make a decision about whether she's going to graduate and go to college and take advantage of the scholarship, or whether she's going to stay home to see after her siblings. The second story is Twice Bitten, and it's about a woman who encounters the empty nest. She's had 4 children. They've all left the nest. The story opens with her last daughter getting married and leaving the house. And, she's bored, she's lonely, she doesn't know what to do with herself. Her identity has been lost because she's been so tied into her children. And so she tries to find some, let's say, excitement. And she finds it in an unlikely place in a past relationship. And so she has to make some decisions about whether she wants to stay with her husband, who is stable, but doesn't provide the type of excitement she's looking for, or if she should revisit the relationship in the past and move on with him. So, and then the third one is Dimitri's Diary. Dimitri's Diary is about a young man who's dealing with some issues in his home, with his family, with his relatives, and, some stuff he really should never have had to deal with. But the book is written from his perspective as an adult, and looking back at what happened over his young life. So that's a really good story. And actually, I expanded that one into the next book that I'm going to talk to you about. This book is available in print and ebook.
Okay.
So Neely is the character I was talking about in Dimitri's Diary. And Neely is an aunt. Now listen, Neely got some issues. And Neely is abusive.
Oh.
And I wrote that story first, but then this one came along to kind of explain why Neely is so mean and evil. Okay. And what we find out in Something Else to Want is that Neely wanted to, her dream, this book is set in the 70s in Flint, Michigan, which is my hometown. And she kind of goes against the grain. Her family thinks that she should do what women in their family for generations have done, which is you graduate from high school, you get married, you have some children, and you take care of a home. Well, Neely wanted something else. She wanted to go to college, get a degree in management, because she wanted to run some stuff. So this is kind of the backstory for why Neely is the way she is. And I think I have a little clip here I would like to read, if you wouldn't mind. And this chapter is called Not the Right Daughter for That. Neely has a sister, Evelyn, who's doing everything that her family wants her to do. And so Neely is in her room and she's just reading a book called The Feminine Mystique. The white walls displayed various posters of the Jackson 5 and the Temptations. The twin beds were covered with matching pink bedspreads and starched white sheets. She turned the page, revealing the end of the chapter she was reading, when she overheard her name mentioned in her parents' room across the hall. Do you know where Neely is? I need her to iron this shirt for me real quick, Milton asked his wife. I don't know why you're looking for Neely. She is not the right daughter for that, Janice responded. She's 19 years old and she needs to learn, Janice. Now, where is she? Neely rolled her eyes as she heard her parents discussing her. She hoped she would be able to finish the chapter before facing the continuing effort to make Neely into someone she's not. She has no interest, Milton. Let it go. Give me the shirt and I'll iron it, Janice said. I done told you Neely is going to do it, Milton responded. Okay, you're just going to frustrate yourself. I think she's in her room. Neely heard her father's footsteps as he headed across the hall looking for her. What are you doing? Milton asked. What do you need? Neely asked, looked up at closing her book. I need you to iron my shirt for me so I can get to work on time, he said, holding the shirt out to her. You know I don't do no ironing, Daddy. Get Evelyn to do that. Neely reopened her book. What you say? You better get up and do what I told you to do. As long as you live under my roof, you don't get to decide what you don't do. Put that book down and take care of this shirt. That's why your mind is all messed up now, really reading all that stuff. Neely did as she was told and stomped past her father, grabbing his shirt. Hey, Milton said as he grabbed Neely by the arm, don't you ever tell me what you don't do around here. And you better not roll your eyes at me either. I brought you into this world and I'll take you out. Don't think I won't just because you're a girl. Yes, Daddy. No man is going to want you if you can't be respectful. You need to take notes from Evelyn. I bet she'll be married before you if you don't get yourself together. Neely went to the bathroom to get a towel to cover the heavy wooden dining room tables while she ironed the shirt. She then went to get the iron. She laid the towel out and plugged the iron in. It's so unfair how my parents treat me compared to my baby sister. Evelyn loves doing domestic stuff like ironing. Why should I be forced to do it? After waiting for the iron to heat, Neely positioned the shirt on the towel-covered table, picked up the iron, and moved it over the garment. She remembered seeing Evelyn use starch on her father's work shirts, so she left the room to retrieve it. When she returned, she found Evelyn lifting the iron from the shirt. What are you doing? Neely asked her baby sister. Trying to keep you out of trouble. What are you talking about? You walked away and left the iron on the shirt. You can't do that, Evelyn said as she lifted the shirt from the table. I forgot to get the starch. What's the big deal? Don't you know you can burn the shirt leaving a hot iron on it like that? Evelyn asked, showing Neely the light brown mark left on the bleached white shirt. When Daddy finds out, he's going to be mad. I told him I didn't want to do this in the first place, but no, everybody's intent on me learning how to be a good wife. Neely, Evelyn whispered, you need to come down off that high horse. You're a woman, and if you're lucky, a man will want to make you his wife. What you want to do is not realistic. It's not going to happen, Neely, and the sooner you accept that, the better off you'll be. Is my shirt done? Milton asked as he rushed through the living room toward the dining room. No, Neely stuttered. Milton picked up the half-iron, slightly scorched shirt, noticing the tinge left behind by the hot iron. I know this shirt ain't burnt, Milton yelled. It was my fault. I accidentally burned the shirt, Evelyn explained. I saw Neely struggling with it, and well, I was just trying to help. Milton glared at Neely and said, I don't care who burned the shirt. I told you to iron it. Get on upstairs, girl, and I'll be up there to deal with you in a minute. You're going to make me late for work. Neely turned to do as she was told and to wait for her punishment. She looked back over her shoulder at her father and sister as she approached the stairs. Milton placed an arm around Evelyn's shoulder. This ain't your fault. I know you were just trying to take up for your big sister. You're a good girl. I wish Neely was more like you. She's going to be living in my house forever. Ain't no man going to want a prideful and high-minded woman like her. Neely ran up the stairs with tears in her eyes. Why can't my family just accept me? Why does everything come down to getting a husband? I'm not sure if I ever want a husband, but certainly not yet. Why do I need a man? I have a plan and I'm smart enough to make it happen. It's 1970, a new day and a new time with more opportunities for women. when women don't have to count on a man to succeed in life, and I'm going to prove that point. So that is the character, Neely. I had to explain why she acted the way she did in the previous book. I would really like to write. I have another book in mind for Neely, because I don't want Neely to end the way left. I don't want to leave Neely bitter and angry. But that is this is something else to want. This book is available in print and ebook as well.
Okay.
My next two books, they're a pair. They're kind of like twins. The Make Believe Wives is first, and then The Make Believe Family is the book after that. The Make Believe Wives is about a woman who she's overwhelmed by family and her husband, and she figures out that she got married too soon and she had kids too soon, and she don't know who she is, and so she wants to go off and find herself. And of course, her husband says, no, too late for that. So she gets her break, but she doesn't get it in the way she anticipates. This has been a really popular book. And I kind of love the characters in this book. And I continued with them in the next book, which is The Make Believe Family. The Make Believe Family follows the babysitter from The Make Believe Wives and her love interest, Jameson. And I struggle to know how to describe this book without giving it away. But let's just say that there's some things that happen in Faith's life that is totally unexpected and sends her on a spiral. And she asks herself, sometimes we think our family always has to be blood related, but sometimes they're not. And sometimes our blood families are worse than what we would think an enemy would be. And so she has some struggles there with her family, well, actually with her husband's family, her in-laws, and she still has a little bit of a connection to Evan and Janae from the Make Believe Wives. So like I said, I struggle to talk about this book a lot because it depends on a lot from the Make Believe Wives, and I don't want to give it away for those who haven't read the Make Believe Wives. And so this is my most recent book, What is God's Name? And this book follows the life of a young woman, and she is, her name is Nevaeh, and she wants a father. And her mother tells her that her father is dead, but she marries this man who is wonderful. He's supportive. He cares about Nevaeh, and so they're going to live happily ever after. However, sometimes happily ever after doesn't happen. And so this book follows Nevaeh's life after a very terrible incident occurs. And she struggles because she really doesn't know God. She hasn't heard a whole lot about God growing up. And, but people keep telling her that God loves her, but yet her circumstances don't say that to her. So she's, on the path of finding out what God's name really is, who he really is. And so this is kind of a special book to me too. It involves a cult. It involves a lot of different themes. And in the end, it is a happy ending. So that's good about this story. I do have one more book that I'm working on. I'm hoping it's going to be out by the end of the year, and it's called The You I Never Knew. And it's about a young woman whose mother becomes ill, and she has to go home to see about her mother. And so when she goes home, she finds out so many things about her mom, some stuff that really kind of just throws her off about her mom, about her family, and even about herself. And so I'm hoping that The You I Never Knew will see the light of day sometime toward the end of the year. I maybe at the beginning of next year. It's written, but I'm putting some window dressing on it now. So I have one more book, and it is called Edgar's Embrace. It is only available in ebook, and it is a part of a multi-author project. And so that book is available only on ebook on Amazon. So those are my books. And that's a little bit about me as well.
Okay, how can readers find you and the books again?
My website is darlissbatchelor.com. My books are also available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. I believe my ebooks are, well, I think my books, my print books and my ebooks are available on Barnes and Noble as well as other online retailers, I'm sure.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Queenie. I appreciate you. And I hate we're not going to get to see each other later on this year.
We'll see each other virtually. I can't.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. The next author will be in at 3 o'clock, and that is Pamela Hornsby Ivan.